Terry Crews slammed for calling kids with single-gender parents malnourished. Apparently, the other day, I think it was, Crews, or a couple days ago, was on, I think it was The View, and said there are some things you can only get from your father. He said your father names you, and you inherit his story, and he is getting torn apart by the far left. But wait, Terry Crews don't care. Terry Crews don't give up. I can't swear. Terry Crews says, you apparently thought I was your puppet, but I have a mind of my own and can see and think very clearly. The phobic tag is the most feared public tag next to racist. I don't fear it because I am neither. Bullies come in all shapes and sizes. What is Terry Crews doing? God damn. Let's take a look at this story. It's from News Hub. Terry Crews has been widely criticized for saying the children of same-sex or single parents will grow up severely malnourished. The Brooklyn Nine-Nine star has become a celebrated figure for advocating for women and for his 2017 testimony about allegedly being assaulted by another man. But public opinion might be shifting against Crews after he made a series of tweets about parenting. It began on February 25th with him complaining about a New York Times article that accused President Barack Obama of scolding young black men. Crews said he was bothered that a female journalist had written an opinion piece about how boys should be taught to grow into successful men. How would she know? He asked. Ooh, it's getting spicy, Terry Crews. What are you doing? He said, if a successful black man can't advise the black male youth of the next generation, who will? The street, that's who. Why does Obama scold black boys? He added, another thing that bothers me is that this op-ed was written by a woman about how boys should be taught to grow into successful young men. How would she know? Men need to hold other men accountable. Oh, Terry Crews. The tweet provoked accusations of misogyny, which Crews denied, and then it all got much worse. I've reiterated many times that same-sex couples and single parents can successfully raise a child, he wrote on Saturday. But I believe paternal and maternal love are like vitamins and minerals to humanity. He said, no matter where you get that paternal and maternal love, my purpose is to give paternal love. Another Twitter user replied, love is not gendered. A child will not starve with only one gender loving them. But they will be severely malnourished, was Crews' response. Damn. The backlash was swift, with people accusing the actor of disrespecting women, gay people, and single parents. We all trusted you only for you to turn out to be a misogynist, homophobic a-hole, one Twitter user wrote. Your tweet about how kids need both maternal and paternal love was actually effing offensive, said another. One of my close friends has 2 mothers and she is doing just fine. Please learn how to express your points better. But Crews dug his heels in saying he explained it just like I meant to. This is what I'm talking about. I am now a huge Terry Crews fan, not because of his opinions, but because he has a very large and thick spine in his back and he's willing to stand up for what he believes in. I don't necessarily agree with him. I think same-sex parents and single parents can raise successful children. I do think maybe I do agree with him to a certain extent that there are certain challenges associated with these things. I think based on expert opinion, I've listened to a lot of people talk about this. Now, I'm not an expert. My understanding, though, is that when it comes to same-sex parents, we don't actually know as of yet if there's going to be huge detrimental effects or even positive effects. We know that kids need 2 parents. We know that single parents, people who are raised by single parents tend to have a hard time. They're more likely to do drugs. They're more likely to be in gangs. And I think it's fatherless households for the most part. I don't know enough. So I'm not necessarily going to be in agreement with Terry Crews, but I will say I really respect him. This is incredible. When Kevin Hart was getting dragged, I wanted him to stand up and say no. Okay, I've said my piece. I won't, I've changed. I've apologized. We're done. Instead, he apologized like 3 times. Terry Crews, please don't back down. Please don't back down. He's not backing down. He's got a wall of tweets. This is amazing. All of these tweets where he's basically telling everybody, too bad. We'll go through some of these, but let's read the story. He said, you apparently thought I was your puppet. I read that one. He said, the phobic tag is the most feared. He has since deleted the 2 tweets that seem to cause the most upset. Come on. I have another very controversial statement to make, and I will since I'm canceled. Anyway, he concluded, as a human being, there are things you can only get from your mother. It's not the first time Cruz, a devout Christian, has voiced that belief. In 2014, he appeared on talk show The View. That's what I was referring to in the beginning, because that's the video that people were sharing, and said there are things a child can only get from their father. So let's take a look at some of the tweets that Mr. Cruz has been responding to. We'll start from the top. Somebody said, Emily Sears. Okay, who is Emily Sears? Let's pull up her tweets. Emily Sears is just a person. Okay, she's verified. I don't know who she is. But she said, it's sad because I really backed him. I've openly supported him countless times. But unfortunately, most of these male allies burn their bridges with women who try to help them grow by holding them accountable instead of listening to us. It's always like this. I'm not surprised because no one has to listen to you. I don't, and he doesn't. Plain and simple. And you don't have to listen to him. You are free to live your life unimposed, and in no way does his opinion, will Terry Cruz's opinion negatively impact you. For the most part, I understand Terry Cruz is influential, and he could influence change in this country more so than most people. But why should I care what you think? I shouldn't. By all means, you think what you want. Your opinion is valid. I respect it, and I especially respect you for speaking up and speaking out and challenging Terry Cruz. Absolutely. And I respect Terry Cruz for standing up for what he believes in. That's the only thing you can really do. This idea that anyone needs to listen to anybody else. No, we choose to. If Terry Cruz makes a point, and it's a good point, and then you can change your opinion. If Terry Cruz makes a bad point, then you can say, Terry, I disagree with you. And I think it's fair to point out, I disagree with you, Terry, on some of these points. Let's continue the conversation about it and try and figure out the best way to move forward because we're all human beings who think we know what is best. So he's got, this is a response. Someone, Emily Sears said, that doesn't even make sense. That explanation doesn't correlate. Well, let's see what she's talking about specifically. I love these Twitter drags. So apparently she's getting into it. Oh, okay. So Terry Cruz deleted the original tweet. She responded, that doesn't even make sense. That explanation doesn't correlate with your tweet. What has my father got to do with her mom passing? I know gaslighting when I see it, and I see right through you. You're a fraud who co-opted a women's movement for your own personal gain. Oh my God. Well, Terry said, women's equality is not a movement, it's the truth. And what personal gain are you talking about? The women's movement hasn't given me one dime. In fact, he was pushed around. When Terry Cruz came out and complained about someone assaulting him, he got dragged by a lot of people for it. He got a lot of support. I think he mostly got support for sure. Here's someone saying, having raised a son that isn't biologically mine, yet as you see he is my son, your tweets resonate with me tonight. Keep up the good work. He said, I raised a daughter who is not biologically mine either, my oldest, and I love her with all my heart. Emily Sears, he retweeted her. You said the truth hurts to a woman whose mom died, and your words hurt. Who do you think you are? He retweeted that. Wow. Someone said, it might be your truth, but your truth is not the only truth. And he said, but it's also my Twitter. God damn. I didn't know Terry Cruz was a devout Christian, but that says a lot. I also want to point out, isn't it really funny that Terry Cruz's opinions aren't even a secret? That he went on The View, that video I mentioned in the very beginning, it's from 2014. That's what I saw people sharing around saying, could this be real? Oh, are you saying that when Terry Cruz came out in your defense, you just ran to his side to defend him and support him without actually looking into who he was and what he actually believed? Isn't that funny how that works? A tribal statement by Cruz, and everyone says, ooh, we're going to support him. You had every opportunity to look at his past interviews and hear what he had to say. Oh, but now that he's continuing to push his same opinion that he's had for 5+ years, because we know he did the videos from 2014, so probably longer, and now you're shocked to find out that Terry Cruz is Christian and, in fact, a bit conservative. I don't know if I could say he is a conservative. So I don't know what this tweet, but let's find some of this. Leo Shang. Let's see who Leo is. Because I got to say this too. Man, do I respect Terry Cruz for actually responding to a lot of these people. Leo is just artist, activist, advocate, verified, said. So Joshua Gray, you didn't say male role model. You said father figure. You said paternal love. My niece and nephew will be just fine with 2 moms. I can be a positive male figure without being a father figure. Cruz said, I understand you trying to cancel the concept of a father, but without one, you wouldn't exist, sir. Yes, Terry Cruz said there are certain things you can only get from your father. He's right. It's called DNA. And there are certain things you can only get from your mother. Yes, it's also called DNA. It's how reproduction works. Leo Shang said, I was adopted by 2 moms. And when I was 12, I came out as a trans guy. I didn't have a father figure, but I had many examples of positive and healthy masculinity from people, it all genders. I mean, I think from all genders. Well, this is what Terry Crews responded to. He said, "Do you have one now?" And I don't know if we have a direct response or what the point is, but we'll just read a little bit more of what Terry Crews had to say. Someone said, Ranny something Baker, literal big Teddy Goth GF, said, "The best thing my parents ever did was divorce. Their marriage was hella toxic. My dad's rabid homophobia stunted my emotional growth and self-acceptance for decades. But considering how you feel about trans women, I'd assume you'd agree with him." And Terry Crews said, "I would never agree to something like that. Divorce is the best thing for toxic situations. I wished my parents did, but it never happened." So I think the important thing here is, for one, Terry Crews has got one hell of a spine. And I really respect him. I like Terry Crews' work. I've been a fan of him in terms of the comedy he does and the movies he's been in. But in terms of his politics, I do think I disagree. But more importantly, his willingness to not back down is what I mostly respect. I think when we're dealing with politics, you need people who are willing to listen, understand, and be polite and engage in conversation, but also stand up for what they believe in and not just back down to the angry mob. And Terry Crews isn't changing his opinion here. This is something he's held for a while. So I'll end the video there. Stick around. I got more videos coming up in a few minutes. Final thought, Terry Crews, much respect.